And good evening, race fans. Welcome to round number 5 at the Milwaukee Mile, the Rising Stars series, live from Wisconsin, Milwaukee tonight, in West Dallas, Wisconsin. I'm joined out here tonight by my teammates, my friends, my colleagues, my buddies, Mr. Tanner Tallarico. Glad to have you, Mr. Brett Hahn, last week's guest. He decided to come back. We didn't scare him away last week. And new this week, I just got a message about 5 minutes ago. Bryson Clark wants to join us out here tonight. So we got a 4-man team out here tonight. Bryson, Tanner, Brett, pleasure to have you guys. What do you guys expect for tonight's race?
Oh man, well first and foremost, just want to say thanks to Brett for coming back and Bryson for coming out. Both of them are kind of thrown right to the dog, or at least Brett was thrown right to the dogs last week, so we're going to throw Bryson to the dogs tonight. But nonetheless, thank you guys for coming out. I think we're going to see. It's going to be hard to top last week. The finish we had last week with those guys battling it out up front, it's going to be hard to beat. But nonetheless, we were talking about it just a few minutes ago. Seems like every single week these Rising Stars drivers never fail to put on a decent race. So I think we're going to see just that, a pretty good race.
Yep, and thanks for having me out last week, guys, and excited to be back commentating alongside you guys, and excited to have Bryson out here for his first week this week. And yeah, hopefully we get a good show. A short track only being a mile long, it should be some good racing.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm just looking forward to not being in the car this week, especially seeing the practice. I'm kind of happy I'm sitting up here now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We ran a practice race. Michael Witt, currently 5th on the board, just over a 10th off Justin Gross. Justin Gross is a name we said a lot over here at the Rising Stars Series. Michael Witt put on a practice race the other night, and I hopped in the car. Tim Rogers hopped in the car. I know Dylan hopped in the car. A lot of guys were having trouble putting down the power out of turn number 4, so we're going to see if these guys are able to put down the power tonight coming out of turn number 4 and who's going to be able to bring home the checkered flag. Last week we saw Cole Gray coming home at Charlotte with that door banger of a finish between Paul Turner and Brian Dorsey. Wonder if we're going to go 5 for 5 here tonight. Tanner, Brett, Bryson. Bryson, you're our guest tonight. We're going to go ahead and we're going to lead you in with this. This Rising Stars series, we asked this question last week. It's all about getting first-time winners out here, getting drivers leading laps as we take a look at Dale Lee headed down here into turn number 3. Dale sitting 10th on the board. We've gone 4 for 4 first-time winners in the Rising Stars series, Bryson. Do you think we can go 5 for 5 tonight here at Milwaukee?
It's definitely a possibility. I haven't caught too many of the races, so I don't know exactly who all the first-time winners are, but even like last season, I mean, Kyle pretty much kind of ran away with a lot of it, but I mean, you never know. Especially in these cars, it only takes one little slip-up, especially with the new damage model on these, and yeah, so you never know with these ones.
All right, Tim's not out here tonight. Tim's got some real life stuff going on, but Tim, whenever you're free, feel free to join us back out here. Tanner and Brett, you guys think we can go 5 for 5 for tonight?
I don't know, man. We were talking again in the pre-race before we came on air about how much different this track is from the other tracks that we've been to so far this season, and just with the lack of banking, and this is a little bit of an odd track with the way that they have the asphalt strip in the corners, a little bit newer than the original asphalt outside of it. So it's definitely going to take some driver finesse, and like I said, how this is a little bit different than the tracks that we've been to all season, I think for sure might lend its hand to somebody that we haven't seen in victory lane yet.
Yeah, and I agree with Tanner right there. This is going to be the first short track of the Rising Star Series, so we might be able to see a short track ace of some sort. So I think there'll definitely be a new winner in victory lane tonight.
Yep, absolutely. And we were talking about that a little bit before we went on air. This is the first flat track. I was wondering if we're going to see any new faces up front. You know, a lot of the tracks that we've gone to Chicago, we've gone to Michigan, we've gone to Charlotte. A lot of 1.5 high banking here. Tanner kind of alluded to it before. Only 9 degrees of banking in the turns here. Are we going to see any new faces up front here on the different style of track here? All right, and just under 5 minutes to go here in practice before we switch over to qualifying. I see Mr. Jade Bell has decided to join us. Jade, wanted to take a few minutes with you. We're always promoting your series. Wanted to have you down here and really just have you help us promote the K&N series. Why don't you describe the K&N series? This for your first season running it. What do you think of the K&N series, Jade?
Hey, Tom, Tanner, Brett, Bryson down here. Good to be here with you guys tonight. Appreciate you having me down, talk about the series a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this is by far one of my favorite series to be involved with. I've obviously raced the last few seasons. This season, you guys were gracious enough to ask me to admin for the series, and I'm excited about it. It's been a blast. So basically, give you a quick rundown of what the series is all about. It's a driver development series. So eligibility to get into the series, you have to have a 2000 or less I rating. And I tell you, Tom, the guys that chose the car for the development series here are spot on. This ARCA car is money as far as developing the driver. So it's a little bit underpowered, which means you're not going to be completely out of control. But it also, it has enough power that on these flat tracks like this, it gets a little squirrely on you coming out of the turns for sure. So you got to really treat that throttle like you got an egg under it and learn that throttle control. It's got that right rear all skewed out real far. So if you get into the wall, it pulls you back into the wall hard, and it's hard to get off the wall. So it teaches you car control there to keep your car out of the wall. And then at the big super speedways and stuff like that, the way the nose lines up with the rear bumper of other cars, you just can't draft. I mean, you can't bump draft. If you get up there and touch them, you're going to spin each other out. So again, it teaches you, car control, to know where you're at, where your car's at, and how close you can be around other guys. On top of that, you're out here racing with guys that are, the same skill sets as what you are. So you're going to be running up top 5, top 10s, where in other series you may not be getting that opportunity. Makes it real exciting. You learn to respect each other. You see each other week in, week out. And ultimately, we hope to get some drivers developed and move up into some of the other series. And I mean, it's just, this series as a whole has produced some really exciting racing.
Oh, absolutely. We saw that last week as we were taking a look at Cole Gray here a few minutes ago. And your finish with Kyle Jetty last year, last season's champion. Awesome stuff, Jade. We're going to give you a few seconds here. Anybody you want to thank, or, I know you're not out here running tonight. You have any sponsors? You have any teammates? You have any friends out there watching that you want to give a shout out to before we send you back up into the Wolves and let you get your qualifying session started here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, thank you guys for broadcasting this series. It's exciting for the drivers and everybody's friends and families that tune in and watch it. You guys put out an awesome broadcast, and we really appreciate that. My teammates that I raced with here last season at Longshot Motorsports, Cole Gray, Eric Moore, Paul Turner. I know we saw Cole get his first win in the series last week, and he's pretty fast tonight. He may have a chance to do it again, but I tell you, I think Paul's going to be the sleeper tonight. He's going to lay back like he always does and be patient and be there at the end. I think he may pull one out. I know he's been putting a lot of practice in, but yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on here to promote it, and I'm looking forward to a good race.
All right, Jade. Well, just under a minute ago, as we take a look at Paul Turner, Paul's going for a spin down the front stretch. He's going to reverse it across the start-finish line. Nope, just a little bit of contact before the start-finish line. We got just over 30 seconds before we switch over to qualifying. Let's go ahead and throw this trackside for tonight's playing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose what stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the
All right, and we're back qualifying, just getting underway here. Beautiful rendition of our national anthem here. As the field starts to qualify, we're going to take a look at our current point standings. Charles Gettings, current points leader. Tanis, bring us through the rest.
Yeah, so just behind him in second place, the first and only car that's single digits out of the point lead. Just talked about him, heard Jade talk about him. Paul Turner, holding down the fort there in second. Behind them, Brian Dorsey in third, Christopher Daniel fourth, Dave Sanders in fifth, and Cole Gray in sixth. Remember the way this K&N series, the way that the playoffs work is the final six or the top six in the standings move on to the championship bout to go on about it amongst themselves. So those are your first six in. Then your first six out. Richard Pruitt's the first one out looking in, followed by Mike Witt, Tyler Beeman, Rob Rogerson, Corey Range, and Eric Moore. But nonetheless, the difference between 12th place and the lead is only 47 points, so a little over a race, but that can all change over the course of a week or two. So definitely it's still anybody's game this early into the season.
Yeah, and a lot happens here quick, Tanner, as we're taking a look at Dalton Carter driving the AC Delco Chevy Impala coming out of turn number 4, taking his second green flag lap here of the night. Bryson, going through those standings, do you have any preseason favorites that you may be surprised to see up front or were expecting to see up front?
Not really any surprises. Happy to see, obviously, Paul's a teammate of mine, so I'm happy to see him sitting up there. That's good for him, especially in this. Like I said, I haven't caught too many of these races, but yeah, no, the ones that I have like been great. So it's kind of worked out how I'm hoping for. Hopefully, Paul can keep moving his way up on the standings.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul, longtime driver here at Cyber, still searching for that first Cyber win as we see Dalton Carter come across the line. Justin Gross going to be your provisional pole sitter for the current time being, have 2.5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, and you just talked about Justin Gross. No surprise. We saw the sheer speed that he's had in qualifying week in and week out so far this season. Right now, leading last week's winner, Cole Gray, by a little over a tenth of a second with a 31.26 to a 31.37. And then it's another tenth back to Christopher Daniel in third, and then that's when the field really starts to get on top of each other. You've got Rob Rogerson in fourth, Dave Sanders in fifth, Michael Witt sixth, followed by Chris Wold, David Gain fourth, Corey Range, and Dale Lee is going to round out your top 10 so far in qualifying. Didn't get to our 24 car mark this week, so I don't believe we'll be sending anybody home. But nonetheless, I think we're at 23, so it should still be a good field of cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Never a shortage of entertainment over here. So we see Tyler Beeman come down here into turn number 3. Believe he is on his shutdown lap. Believe, yeah, he's going to be bringing it into pit road. Speaking of pit road, Tanner, Brett, and Bryson, this is something that we were talking about a little bit earlier. The entrance to pit road here, as we take a look at it, it's probably different than any other track that we go to. What can we expect with the entrance of pit road here? Do we think anybody's going to nose it into the barrels coming down here into pit road tonight?
Well, I mean, we were talking about it in the pre-race. I think for sure with how sketchy these cars are to drive, I think we might see somebody get loose, just racing, and naturally the car wants to slide down that way. I would not be surprised if we see a car get into the pit barrels just from a racing standpoint. But then, yeah, you got to look at it from the fact of pitting if we get to that point. It's definitely not a gimme getting onto pit road here, but you really got to make sure you weld that thing up and just kind of yank it to the left when you get to the pit barrels there.
Yeah, definitely. We just saw Christopher Daniels making that hard left-hand turn down here as he comes down here to his crew, the Bass Pro Shops Chevy team. He's going to get out of the car. Justin Groves, believe he is the last car on track. We have all the times posted. Justin Groves is going to be your pole sitter for tonight's race with a 31.26.
Yeah, and as we were saying, Justin's just been quick every single week. Hasn't quite had the luck go his way, but nonetheless, showing his speed again here in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Tanner? I say this every week, but for guys like Rob Rogerson, for guys like Cole Gray, we saw it happen for Cole Gray last week. You continuously put those races together. You're continuously up front. One of these nights, you're going to find all the cards falling your way. I know I've said this before. One of these nights, the cards are going to fall your way, and you're going to find yourself in victory lane. Maybe tonight's the night for Justin Groves. Maybe tonight's the night for Rob Rogerson. Maybe tonight's the night for Dave Sanders. Who knows? All would be first-time winners. We're going to bring the field down here behind the iRacing.com pace car as we get set for tonight's grid.
Absolutely. And as we just alluded to, Justin Gross once again is going to be on the pole for another K&N Rising Star Series race. And outside of him, you're going to have last week's race winner, Cole Gray in the 44, and that fantastic finish we had last week at Charlotte. Inside row number 2 in the 119, you'll have Christopher Daniel. Outside of him in the 78, you'll have Rob Rogerson starting 4th. And rounding out the top 5, you'll have the 77 of Dave Sanders.
Yep. And as everybody puts those window nets up and starts the engines, Michael Witt's going to be starting on the 6th position outside row number 3. Chris Walden, the Boy State Broncos car, is 7th position. Mr. David Gainforth in the number 101 Kodiak car, starting on the outside of row number 4. Corey Range in the... That's not Bill Elliott. That's Corey Range. He's starting on the inside of row number 5 tonight. Outside to him, the Dr. Dale Lee. Dr. Dale Lee, hopes to see him out here with a good run here tonight.
Yeah, and the first car starting outside of the top 10 tonight, you'll have the 29 car of Jamie Beasley. Outside him starting 12th, the 151 of Jerry Isaacs. Behind him, you'll have the 91 of Tyler Beeman. Outside of him, outside of row number 7, is Brian Dorsey. Kind of up there in points. Not exactly the qualifying run I'm sure Brian was looking for, but nonetheless, he's quick, and we know he'll be up there before the end of it. And rounding out the top 15 in the number 3 car, Eric Moore.
Yep, starting in the 16th position tonight, it's going to be Dalton Carter. 17th, Mr. Richard Pruitt. Zachy C's in the 18th position, rolling off in the number 22 car. We're going to see him try to work his way to the front from the back of the field. Mr. Paul Turner and Patrick Stein rounding out the top 20.
Yep, and the remainder of our field elected to not take a time tonight. You've got the 96 of Charles Gettings, the 36 of Alan Robinson, who I believe this is the first time we've seen him out this season, and Eric Anderson, which doesn't look like he gridded up for the race, but nonetheless, he is in the server, or he was at one point. We're about a half lap away from going green here in Milwaukee.
All right, real quick, we didn't do this. Picks. Names only.
Oh, man. I got to go with Cole Gray, man. I got to go with this guy that won last week. I'm going with Cole.
All right, last week's winner, Cole Gray. Brett, Bryson, who you guys got?
I'll go with the pole sitter, Justin Gross, tonight. I think he can finally string one together.
All right, field's going to come out of turn number 4. Everybody's going to grab their shifter. Waiting on the green flag. Green flag is out. Tanner, we're going to go through the gearbox for the first time here tonight at Milwaukee.
Absolutely. The field's going to go side by side for the first time down into that low 9-degree banking here at Milwaukee. So far, so good. Side by side, field's just starting to string out for about 5th place. But just behind 5th, it's still side by side off turn number 2. Everybody given plenty of room early in the race.
Yeah, side by side down here to turn number 3. So you see the field coming at you. Only 9 degrees of bank, and Justin Groves continues to battle Cole Gray on that top side there. Justin Groves going to be clear out of turn number 4 and lead lap number 1 at Milwaukee.
Yeah, and one thing you saw right there is you saw Cole kind of up the track a little bit, and I know Brett as a driver, when you're up there, you're outside of that asphalt strip, and this is kind of a flat track, you know. Usually you'd want to wrap that corner as tight as you possibly can, but in these low horsepower, really heavy stock cars, you think it might be a little bit better off to run a little higher, try to keep that momentum up?
With it being a short track, I think it's always the shortest way around is always the quickest. So you always want to try and be right to the guys outside. 1, a little bit less steering input coming off. You can put the power down a little sooner. And 2, I think you're saving your tires a little bit better with running just above the guy's outside door rather than really arcing.
Yeah, well, there you hear it. From the driver's perspective, from Brett, nonetheless, we'll run back up front. Nothing's changed so far. We still got Justin Gross leading, running where he started, along with Cole Gray running where he started. And then Rob Rogerson has made his way up to 3rd place from starting 4th, and basically flip-flopped positions with Christopher Daniel, who started 3rd and is now running.
Yep, as we head down here into turn number 1 for the 4th time tonight, I'm going to bring you back through the top 10. Dave Sanders currently running in the 5th spot. Nice start by him. Chris Wald right behind him. Chris had a rough week last week, saw him involved in, I believe it was 4 incidents. And finally, he just limped that beast home. So I think it was an 18th place finish. Michael Witt in the Blademobile right behind him. BladeNode.com. We'll have more on them a little bit later tonight, but right behind him, Jamie Beasley, been a front runner all season long. And David Gainforth making a move on Mr. Tyler Beeman down here into turn number 1.
Yeah, it looks as though David's going to get to the inside of Beeman there and actually get the 2-for-1 special as they work their way through turns number 1 and 2. He's going to get Beasley as well. try to bring Beeman along with him on the inside. I believe Tyler's probably going to clear the 29 as they go into turn 3. And both those guys hunting the front already early in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler Beeman already a first-time winner in the Cyber Thunder Rising Stars series. Glad to see he's one of our first fours. We see Jamie Beasley way up and out of the groove. He's going to lose another spot out here to Eric Moore, coming down here into the east end of the speedway as he tries to take that spot from Jamie.
Yeah, and we were just talking about Brett. You heard Brett say it. The bottom's going to be the way to go all night long, and looks like Jamie's just unfortunately been kind of stuck out there. Not necessarily anything of his doings, just when you get up there, it's kind of hard to get back down. And we see him losing a spot to Eric, but I'm sure Jamie will figure that line out and get back up there. We're seeing how quick he is in this Rising Star series every single week, and we'll see Jamie up there before it's all said and done.
Yeah, and you're not missing anything up front. We're going to watch the field come to you here from the Rumble Cam that we have here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile. Everybody right down there on that yellow line, right where you want to be. Ooh, we just got hit. You're not missing anything. Justin Gross continuing to lead over Cole Gray by half a car length into turn number 3. Cole's, I don't know. Cole might just be riding here. I don't know if he's trying to get him right now or maybe just use his stuff up.
Well, fortunately, I've been able to run with Cole a little bit in the past, and I know how much of a calculating driver he is, and I would not be surprised to see Cole maybe saving a little tire or trying to set up Justin when he thinks he's got the right run, but Cole's not going to push that car any harder than he thinks he needs to. Would not be surprised to see Cole save some tire and get him later in the race.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask you, Tanner. How big is tire saving here at this track? Because it definitely seems like Cole's driving it in there a little bit harder than the leader, catching on entry but losing on exit. What do you think about saving tires?
Well, I mean, I think it's really just situationally based, really. If you're the leader and you're, say, in Justin's position, I think you run that car as hard as you have to maintain, or you hear the real-life Cup guys say manage the gap, if you will. Just try to manage that gap back to second place. You don't really need to try to lap the field or anything. Just go hard enough to give yourself a decent amount of breathing room in your mirror. And as I just said, I think Cole's, a calculated driver enough to kind of understand that. But I think Justin, really everybody in the top 10, I believe would understand that. And I think it'll be interesting to see here as the laps click off. So we're working lap 10 right now. Maybe Cole will be able to drive up there and get it from him, or maybe we'll see Justin drive away. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and I have a question out here for our guest out here tonight, Mr. Bryson Clark. Bryson, so the one thing that we haven't touched on tonight is that this is a concrete track. With your experience, would you say that there's more tire wear on the concrete track or less, or what do you have last night? I know I saw your tire wear last night after Dover. I snuck into the 73 garage, and I saw your tire wear was at 0%.
Yeah, I think I was 0 on the inside, 1% in the middle, and I think I'm 25 on the right. So, I'm terrible at saving tires anyway, so especially on these concrete tracks. Like, I can't figure it out.
Second.
Oh, got someone sideways. 78.
78.
Yep, 78 sideways. Looked like a little bit of contact from Chris Wald. Everybody does a really nice job gathering it through there. A little bit of damage on the right front of 78. That's not Matt Kenseth. That's Rob Rogerson. Looks like Matt Kenseth has retired as the pace car is going to be out for the first time tonight.
Yeah, and I think it was contact between the 78 and the 119 of Christopher Daniel making contact. So should be interesting to see how this one plays out. Sorry for interrupting you there, Bryson.
No, you're good. I saw it too. But yeah, luckily these guys only ran 12 laps, so tires should still be good. I mean, obviously you're probably going to come down and get some freshies, but tire wear the concrete tracks is definitely a different beast.
Absolutely. We're going to see if we see pit stops, we're going to see everybody come down here, make that hard left-hand turn. Looks like Cole Gray thinking about it. He stays out. Looks like the entire top 10 is going to be staying out here. First car on pit road is going to be the 101 Dave Gainforth coming to our pit road reporter, Brett Hahn.
Yep, so the 101 leads us into pits. He is making his way into this box, followed by the 91 and the 3. Looks like all pretty clean stops so far. No one's really slid through their box, except for the 53 maybe.
Yep, right side's up, right side's down. Now the left side's up on the Kodiak machine. 4 tires and fuel for the 101 as he comes out. We'll see where he comes out. He's going to be first car out of pit road, see where he lines up for the first restart.
And just real quick, guys, before we get too deep into this restart again, I do want to give a quick shout out to Charles Gettings. I know he was just on pit road right there, but right prior to that caution, I believe he was up in the 14th position, and he started 21st. So no doubt about it, he's our biggest mover so far. Obviously, there's some speed in that 96 machine. Interesting to see if Charles will be able to get that thing up there. Has already won this year. I believe he was our winner at Michigan, so we know he can get it done. And he's our point leader. So nonetheless, I think the way Charles has been running that car earlier in this race, he's got a good piece underneath him tonight for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Always hard to count out the points leader is they got the fire extinguisher and they put the lights out on that iRacing.com pace car. Nick Fleury's going to be bringing that pace car down to pit road next time by. As we discussed last week, all iRacing starts are on green, but the leader does have choice of either inside or outside. Justin Gross is going to be leading the field here to the iRacing green from the inside lane.
Yeah, and that was actually a fairly long run for the start of a race in the Rising Stars Series here at Milwaukee. It'll be interesting to see how these things handle on a restart after they got some laps on the tires, but we're fixing to find out here in just a couple seconds as we're coming to the green right now.
And we're about to find out as the starter's going to go ahead and look over the entire front row, look over the entire field, make sure everybody's kind of lined up. Pace car makes that hard left-hand turn down there. Green flag is back up and in the air. Cole Gray with a great start on the top side. He's going to be clear of the 199 as he comes down here. That's
yeah, what an
number one.
amazing start by Gray there. Holy smokes. I don't know if he's got road course transmission in that thing or what, but he got through the gears great. Down the back straightaway, he's going to hold about a 5 car length lead or so over Justin Gross. First time somebody other than Justin has been leading this race tonight.
Yep, fairly calm up front as we see staggered 3 wide in the back, 3 wide all over in the back of the pack. So we see Dr. Dale Lee working the top side, David Gameforth, Tyler Beeman, all just on pit road. Dave Gameforth coming out of turn number 4. It's anything but calm back here, Tanner.
Oh yeah, and if I'm back here right now this early in the race, I don't know for sure that I'm really trying to get up there and duke it out with these guys. You know, you got the mix of fresh tires, old tires, and guys that started up front, guys that started in the back. Quite the, as I like to say, hornet's nest we got going on right now, but some good racing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the 2 Mad Sim racing cars down here, Jerry Isaacs and Tyler Beeman coming out of turn number 4, trying to work the bottom, trying to work together, get around Eric Moore and Charles Gettings. We were just talking about Charles here just a minute ago. He was working his way up before that first caution came out. See where he can go ahead and funnel out here as it gets very tight down here into turn number 1 with the 151 and the 96 of Gettings.
Yeah, and I don't know if we have the ability to have a in-car camera tonight or maybe a roof cam, but one thing I do want to talk about real quick is, you know, Milwaukee from a helicopter in the sky, if you will, looks pretty symmetrical end to end, but one thing that I think gets taken for granted every time you come to Milwaukee is the inside of the corner isn't necessarily a consistent curve. It kind of flows in and out away from the inside wall. It's not exactly the same radius all the way around the inside of the corner. So if you see these guys kind of getting down to the yellow line and drifting off and then coming back to it and then drifting back off, that's not necessarily anything they're doing inside the car per se. That's just the way that these corners are set up in Milwaukee.
Yeah, absolutely. Tanner, you know what? We were just talking about that. Why don't you bring us a lap around here real quick with the 199 Justin Gross, see if he can chase down Cole Gray or where he can make up time on the 44 here.
Yeah, well, you see them right here. They're working their way through 1 and 2. Off of 2, that radius that we were just talking about, that's probably the best that it is on the whole entire track. When we get down here to turn 3 and 4, especially on the exit, you'll see what I mean, how that yellow line just kind of wavers all the way through the corner. But he's down here in this asphalt strip. Right there you see that yellow line kind of waver a little bit, but down there in that asphalt strip in the center of the corner, it's not quite as sensitive to the heat buildup as the concrete on the outside of it. So you'll see these guys right down there in that asphalt as much as they can, trying to get that thing to rotate. And as right there you see it again, that yellow line kind of get closer to the car as you get further into the corner. But yeah, nonetheless, it looks like Justin's running a pretty conservative line right now, and Cole is checked out. It looks like he's got about 15 car lengths or so over Justin.
Well, maybe Justin learned a little bit from Cole from the first run, but don't look now. But the 119, Christopher Daniel, currently sitting in the 3rd position, 5 positions, is 5 car lengths back on the 199 as he loses a little bit of time coming out of turn number 4. Cole Gray, last week's winner. So you guys know this to be true. you have to lose so many races before you can win your first one. And once you do win your first one, take a look at guys like Chase Elliott. Take a look at guys like Nick Fleury, even in Cyber. It's so hard to get your first win, but once you do, those wins just start to come naturally.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, winning the first one, they say, is always the hardest. And they say that for a lot of different reasons. A lot of time that has to do with just a lack of experience. And to be quite honest with you, there is a difference between leading a race and running second, third, fourth. Basically anywhere else but first, there is a difference. And once you do it one time, you kind of prove to yourself that you're able to do it, and you feel like you proved to everybody else that you're able to do it. And it just takes a lot of pressure off your chest, and you're able to focus a lot more. So we got a spin off turn number 2. Looks like it's Beasley coming back up the track. I believe that may have been a single car incident. But yeah, once you get the first win, it's a lot easier to pick up the other ones for sure.
And it seems like Beasley may have gotten some help from the Dr. Dale Lee there, coming off of 2, and a little bit of contact with one of the.
Oh yeah, I did get a little bit of help there, it looks like, from the doctor. Maybe a little contact from a Mad Sim Racing machine as well.
Yeah, a little bit of contact. Hard contact for the 29. No foul play there. Jamie's going to spin it around, get it brought down to pit road. Put the flex tape on the car, get that car fixed up, and he's going to be good to go here for the next run that we do. So
one fast repair.
One fast repair. Get that flex tape out. We didn't see any of the leaders come down pit road last time. I got to imagine 24 laps in here, you're going to see most of the leaders, if not all of them, come down to pit road.
Yeah, I just think you have to. We're kind of just past that 1/4 mark of this race, and I'd have to imagine they'd probably be okay on tires, assuming that half the field pit and half the field didn't. But I think there's enough laps on your tires now where if you're the leader somewhere in the top 5 and you decide to stay out and everybody else pits, you're just going to be a sit and duck out there. So
yeah,
looks like pretty much everybody's coming down pit road.
Yeah, we saw Christopher Daniel decide to stay out. We're going to plan ourselves down here at the exit of pit road as we're going to see Cole Gray, first car moving down here. Cole Gray is going to win the race off pit road. But it's going to be a fight from there on out. Justin Groves, followed by Corey Range, Charles Gettings, Chris Wall, Dave Sanders, Michael Witt, Rob Rogerson, Brian Dorsey, Eric Moore, Paul Turner, and Richard Pruitt. I got them all. And I didn't mess any names up.
No, you did good, Tom. Good job.
Thank you.
But
we'll see if the 119 stays out here. Maybe he's just out there trying to lead a lap. He is in the fight for the points. Looks like he's going to stay out here.
So do you guys think he's going to be a sitting duck now, or how's that going to go? Because, I mean, you got, 25 laps on these tires? Like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have come down pit road. Looks like maybe Tyler might have stayed out as well. I wasn't focused on the 91 at the start of the pits there, but Tyler is finding his way up here to the front row, starting on the outside. So these guys might be going backwards in a hurry, especially with 25 lap better Goodyears behind them. But we'll see how it plays out here once we come out of turn number 4 and go green again.
Yep,
And
these
boys-
guys on the front row just got to hope for an early caution, because or else if they get a long green flag run, they're going to be sitting ducks.
absolutely. Don't look now. We're just talking about him. Gettings up to the 6th position. So my man's not messing around. Coming from the back to the front. Coming to the restart.
Coming to the restart, 119 way out front, 91 car holding the top lane up. Everybody's going to put the hammer down. We're going to go down here into turn number 1 for the 26th time tonight, as I think they're going to make quick work of the 91 and the 119 as we see Tyler already under fire from Cole Gray, as we see 3 wide right behind them for the 5th position here.
Oh, and these guys know everybody behind them that just pit. This is like blood in the water for them. They're doing everything they can to eat these guys up as quick as possible, because guys like Cole Gray know if they can get around them, and then as we see Cole, I believe, just blinked out there for a minute, but these guys like Cole Gray know if they can get around Christopher Daniel and Beeman and kind of use them as a roadblock on old tires, if you will, against the guys that came down and pit, it's just going to aid in Cole Gray trying to pull away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, as we see Tyler Beeman already back to the number 5 position, coming out of turn number 2 under fire from Justin Groves. Going to lose another spot headed down here on the Wisconsin Fairgrounds Speedway chute headed down to turn number 3, going to try to fall in line here in between the 91 and the 96. Yeah, Tanner, I don't know about that. That's a lot of laps that you have to have on your cars, but maybe they know something we don't. You know, they were out here during practice. We're just up here. We're just up here calling the race. We weren't out there, so maybe they know something we don't.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I thought Christopher Daniel would have dropped more than further through the field than he did. He's holding his own right there in second. We know that he was up front prior to that round of pit stops anyway, but definitely thought the tire game was going to be a little more severe than it has shown so far for Christopher Daniel, and really Tyler. I think is still holding on inside the top 5. So maybe tires aren't as valuable as we think they are.
Does there ever come a point, though? I know that they talk about it in real-world racing. Has there ever come a point on iRacing, Tanner and Bryson and Brett, that maybe those tires start to equalize out, and, you know, the 20-lap better tires, they're now about what everybody else has got?
Well, I think there's definitely a temperature advantage on new tires for sure. Once the tires get up to temp, they do kind of plane out, as you alluded to, Tom. But, you know, once the tire temps come up, they're definitely not as fast, you know, obviously fast, as I believe we have a caution possibly off turn number 4. Yep. But not as obviously fast right out of the get-go once the tire temps come up, but they are a little bit quicker throughout the entire run.
Yeah, as we see the 22, that's Zachy C. Tough to see. And Alan Cheech Robinson looks like he just got up and out of the groove, and really nowhere for Zach to go. Nice evasive maneuver down there. I don't know if that's the 91 or the 151. Jerry Isaacs down there avoiding him. I see a lot of people out here in our YouTube chat box tonight. Who you guys got for the race win tonight? I see Kyle Jetty out here. Cole Gray, Michael Witt, or Zachy C with the upset. Cole's looking great, awesome entry, and smooth off. That's how you win it here. All right, take it from last season's champion.
Oh, man, big words out of Kyle Jetty tonight, folks. Big words.
It's not Cole Grit, though. It's Cole Witt. It's Cole Gray and Michael Witt.
We are falling apart at a furious rate here, folks. Bear with us.
I can't wait to see this 90 laps in. I guess be 80 laps in. Sorry.
You don't know what
I'm falling apart too.
Yep.
That's why you're part of our team here tonight, Bryson.
No, I'm not even.
And it looks like the 119 will lead us down to pit road. He stayed out and saw those figures. He comes in and gets new stickies, and looks like no one's gonna follow him. So
yeah, it's
some interest and strategy here.
That's a lonely trip down to pit road as he comes to the aid of his 119 track or Bass Pro Shops crew. We're going to see right sides up, right sides down, and then I'm sure we'll see the left sides go on as well. No tire limits in this series as we're almost halfway in tonight's race.
Yeah, only 80 laps the distance. 80 laps, 80 miles. We talked about it a couple different times tonight, and we've talked about it every time we said the name of this track, the Milwaukee Mile. So, yeah, it's a pretty quick race for the Rising Stars division, a little bit quicker than what they're used to, but I'll say, for only being on lap 32, I think we've already packed in just as much action, just not quite as spread out.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been a lot of action on this track over the years. Tanner, Brett, and Bryson, did you guys know this was the oldest continuously operating venue for motor racing in the world?
I did not.
Do we know maybe when it was opened? I know Tanner knows.
1649.
Well,
There you go. Christopher Columbus opened it.
Christopher Columbus sailed on the Mina, and the Pinta.
Wasn't that 1742?
1742.
We don't claim to be historians here in the Cyber Thunder broadcast network, folks.
Hey,
We all we
know
can
what?
remember.
I had to sing the song just now, so that's the only reason I know.
The only thing we can remember up here is to turn left and go fast, right, boys?
That's right.
Let her
Well,
rip.
you guys more than me, but yeah.
Let her rip, potato chip. We're going to be coming out to the iRacing.com green flag for the third time tonight. Cole Gray is elected to start on the inside row, but take a look to the outside. That's Corey Range. Corey Range has been running quietly, made his way up to the front row for this restart here, Tanner.
Yeah, Corey Range is going to have that Ford Impala coming up through the gears as they come across the start-finish line. Green flag's back in the air. Cole Gray again, just a phenomenal restart. I'm curious to see how he's doing that. Maybe he could teach me a thing or two on these restarts, but Cole Gray going to check out on the field going into turn number 1 and 2 once again as you see Justin Gross get to the inside of range.
Yep, turn number 1 and 2. Down here, heading into the backstretch, into turn number 3 with a 3-car length lead over Justin Gross. Corey Range just right behind him as we see a battle now for the 5th position between the 32 and the 91. Tyler Beeman once again up the track, and Chris Wold now up into the 4th position.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the pre-race. Chris Wold has shown the speed all season long. Just has been in the wrong place at the wrong time, it seems like, since the drop of the green flag. But
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we got a change for the lead. Justin Gross happens just that quick here. Cole Gray and Justin Gross just swap positions for the lead.
I think these guys are playing cat and mouse, honestly. We've seen the speed that both of them have, and I just think both of them know, that they're trying to play. They're both trying to play the tire game, and one of them gets out front, runs away a little bit, and then tries to save, and then they get ran down, and then the other one goes out front, tries to save, and then they get ran down, and they're just going to flip-flop this position all night long, I think.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of that last week at Charlotte, where the person out front really just could not keep the lead. We saw it swap so many times. I don't have a chance to take a look at the number of lead changes that we had last week, but it felt like every third lap we were talking about a new leader coming up to the front of the field last week, Tanner. I think we're seeing a little bit of that here tonight.
Yeah, and we don't want to jinx the guy because we know what his luck has been all season, but Justin Gross shows every single race that he's capable of getting up here and winning, and in some cases even dominating these races. Just hasn't been able to put the exclamation point at the end of them. That win has been all elusive to him so far this season, but I'll tell you what, I like the way that 199 car looks tonight, and if he can just hold off Cole Gray and maybe some of these sleepers back here in the top.
Hello? You guys got me?
Yeah, I got
Yep.
you, Tom.
Okay. I think we had technical difficulties there real quick, but it looks like everything's reconnected here. Looks like all of our scoring is still up and running. Hopefully YouTube chat box can let me know everything looks and sounds good out there as well.
We're operating on a budget, folks. Good battles going on all over the speedway once again, though. For about the 15th position, we got 4 cars you can throw a blanket over with David Gainforth and Richard Pruitt. Jamie Beasley, we saw him make heavy contact with the outside wall early in the race. He's making his way around Pruitt and is going to start stalking Gainforth, it looks like, as they head down into turn number 1.
Yep.
Yep.
Sorry, Brett, go ahead.
I was going to say, and yep, we got Christopher Daniels back there too, taking tires and not really making the total advantage of taking them. So it looks like tires aren't too big of a factor. We'll see how it goes for a longer run, but short run speed, it seems like you could get away with old tires.
Yeah, I see Frank out there giving me the thumbs up. Looks and sounds fine. Frank's got Cole going to go 2 in a row. I don't think that's a far stretch. I think Cole could very well go 2 in a row. He's probably should have won 6 or 7 races in this series already, as we still focus here on the 29, the 101, and the 119 battling for position back here.
Yeah, and we see these guys going at it, and Brett just alluded to it. We saw Christopher Daniel not exactly able to really take charge and just demand these guys around him on those new tires. So, we were talking about it in the pre-race. We originally thought that tires are going to be a pretty big deal here at Milwaukee with the lack of forward drive off the corner, but evidently that's not the case so far tonight, and maybe track position is a little more important. It's got to make you wonder, if we get a caution late in the race, what do you guys think you would do? Would you stay out if you thought you could get good track position and win the race, or do you think tires would be more important and come down and take the tires? What do y'all think?
I think if it's anything 5 or less laps, you got to stay out no matter what and hope for either an early caution or at least good enough first couple corners, because other than that, I don't think I could see tires making enough of a difference. This track is pretty wide, but I couldn't see you making the high side work that well.
I don't know, Tanner. That's why I always ask you what we're doing whenever there's a caution.
I just guess. We don't take any mathematical equations or anything into account here. We just guess and trust our gut. That's all we do. But see Corey Range here for a second there. He was really heating up Cole Gray for second place. I think he got his left sides on the rumble strip a little bit there. Maybe we could cue up the rumble cam. saw Range get down on those ripple strips there, and it looks like he got his car a little bit sideways. Chris Wold tried to jump on him and take that position, just wasn't able to do it. But still, the top 7 or 8 cars, all within about 2.5 seconds of each other.
Yep, and you see the field coming at you down here. It's a turn number 3. All single file for the most part as you see Charles Gettin dip out and take a look on the inside line there, trying to make a pass on the number 9 of Brian Dorsey. Brian Dorsey's having kind of a quiet run. He started way in the back tonight, had not such a great qualifying run, but he's currently running up in the 7th position as Charles gets around him here, headed down into turn number 1.
Yeah, and Charles, it looked like he just sank that car down into turn number 3. These are fixed setups in these cars that we're running tonight, but nonetheless, if you can figure out a little quirk that nobody else is able to, that's a huge advantage when it comes to running a fixed setup. And I don't know what Gettings has got figured out in that 96 car, but he can just drive that thing down into the corner. It seems like a whole lot deeper than everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if that's going to stall him out, though, as he kind of now puts the 32 in his crosshairs, going to focus on the 32 car next, see if he can get around him. But got to wonder if that's burning the stuff up, heating up that right front tire. That's the last thing you want to do, is heat that right front tire up, because you're going to find yourself going backwards soon. But Charles knows what he's doing. He's the current points leader and already a winner in the Cyber Thunder series, so clearly knows what he's doing. He's got more wins than I do this year, as we see him take a Baja down there across the rumble strip in turn number 3.
Yeah, and just real quick, while we're talking about tires again, we were just talking about 5 or 6 laps ago how it seems like when the leader gets out front, he can't quite get away. Cole Gray has cut that lead. It's actually going to get into the back of Justin Gross just a little bit off turn number 2, let him know he's there. But Cole Gray not letting Justin Gross out of his sights for the lead, no matter what. You're going to see him really drive it down there into turn number 3 and 4. I don't know if that was intended or not. Maybe it was, but nonetheless, Cole is putting it all out there.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
almost got the pit barrels.
Almost got the pit barrels. We were almost... he got something on pit road there. A little bit of damage to the right front. Man, this is going to be a huge upset for the 071 Corey Range down here. At least he didn't have too much damage, as he's going to come down here to the attention of his pit crew. It looks like he might be parking that beast, bringing it back behind the wall, but going from 3rd to the garage in a matter of 100 feet, that's got to be a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, about the only thing that went right for Corey there was I think he was spinning for so long before he got to the start of pit road, was he probably didn't get a pit road speeding penalty out of it. But
At least we can find some sort of positive in that one.
yeah, we see back up front. We saw Cole Gray kind of fall back, and he's just driving that thing down into the corner trying to get to Justin right now. These guys, I'm telling you what, they're not afraid to get down into the corner and just really sink that thing down in there, even if it means they're going to blow through the apex and wash up. But, hey, you know what? If it's working for them and they're making up time on whoever's ahead of them, why not?
Yeah, it looks like 2 for sure different driving styles coming out, Justin Gross and Cole Gray, with Justin kind of taking it easy on entry and trying to get that apex center off speed, whereas Cole Gray's doing the opposite, driving in there hard and trying to keep the whole center and corner speed up. We'll see how it plays out for tire wear.
And one does have its advantage over the other, actually. You know, driving into the corner really deep, I think on new tires is actually probably a little bit quicker. But if something happens and this race gets a long green flag run, I think this is probably going to set Justin Gross up for a little bit longer, or a little bit better long run speed. But nonetheless, Cole Gray and Chris Wold, for that matter, are not letting Justin out of their sights.
Yeah, absolutely. We're riding on board here with the 44 RST Timberworks Chevy Impala. See him just a little bit higher than the 199. You have to hear him come out of the gas just a tiny bit coming out of turn number 4. You see the 199 gap him tiny bit. Go down here into turn number 1. Both of them going to keep it in the strip. It looks like Cole's a lot better on the turn 1 entry, and Justin's getting him on the turn 4 exit here, Tanner. I don't know, which end of the speedway do you want to be better on? You want to be better on the east end or the north end?
I want to be better on both. That's what I want to be better on. But we just saw Cole Gray go through turns 1 and 2 right there, and he did something that I really, really liked. He was able to roll the center of that corner really, really well when you get into the corner, and the transition from where you begin to get back off the brake and transition back to the throttle, that little split second right in the right in the middle there, he was able to really maximize his corner speed. You saw that he was able to close right up on the 199, but it's fallen back a little bit. But nonetheless, if Cole can continue to do that the entire run, he's going to be quick at the end.
Tanner, let's do something we haven't done in a while. Who do we want to do a cyber spotlight on? We haven't done one of these in quite a while. Who we got out here tonight we want to do a spotlight on?
Oh boy, there's a bunch of people that I feel like we could probably, shine spotlight on, but I think the one that really jumps out at me tonight, I kind of want to give some attention to Dave Sanders. He's having a pretty good run. I believe he's running about 8th place right now. Started 5th, so it's fallen back a little bit, but he's running pretty consistent all night long. I don't think he's really drifted to the back at all night. Obviously qualified in the top 5, so he's got the speed in that car to contend up front. Just maybe didn't have exactly the restart that he wanted prior to where he's running right now, and kind of got him shuffled back. But Dave Sanders having a pretty good run tonight for sure.
Absolutely, always a pleasure to do these cyber spotlights. Move the camera back to towards the tail end of the field a little bit as we see Dave Sanders heading down here into turn number 3, right behind Rob Rogerson. Dave always out here running consistently, running quietly, as we see him on the rumble strips down here in turn numbers 3 and 4, trying to chase down the 78 machine. Sideways out of turn number 4. You just said you didn't want to jinx him. Nice save out of the 77.
Yeah, I have a weird way of doing that, and I should really just stop talking about people. But you know what? I'm calling a race, so we're going to try to equal them all out.
Well,
Real quick, it looks like we got a battle for second going on between Wold and Gray.
Yep, battle down here into turn number 3 between the 32 and the 44. See who's going to prevail. Give it to the 32 coming out of turn number 4. He's going to be clear. See if he takes it all the way up as Tyler Beeman now tries to fill that hole as well and follow Chris Wold through. Not going to be able to do it. Chris Wold now P2 on the board.
Yeah, I don't know if something's going sour or maybe going south on that 44 machine, but yeah, we saw Cole Gray, how quick he is on the short run. Just, I don't know if maybe he missed a corner there and opened the door up and that allowed Chris to get underneath him or what, but we know that the 44 car's got speed. Nonetheless, this 32 looks like he might be a bit of a sleeper, and it'll be interesting to see here now that the 32 is out front of Gray at least, who's going to run the faster lap time between himself and Justin Gross.
Yeah, and one thing that we were talking about earlier was wondering if Cole and Justin were maybe running off those tires, off those Goodyears that they had pitted for about 20 laps ago or so. Gotta imagine if Chris got around Cole like he did, as you already see 10 car lengths over the 44. Check the speeds at the line this time by. Gotta wonder if the 32 is going to get up to the 199 here in the next 5 or 10 laps. So we only got 23 laps to go. They should be done pitting, Frank. I don't think we're coming down pit road unless we have another caution.
No, I don't think so.
And it looks like that time Chris Wold was about a 10th quicker than Justin Gross, and then Justin Gross was 2/10 quicker than Cole Gray there. So it does seem like Chris Wold's a little bit faster than the leader, but we'll see if Justin picks it back up once he starts catching him.
Well, I got to tell you, if there's any time to really start, if you've been saving during this run since we went green on that last restart, if you're going to start turning up the wick and trying to really reel in the leader and run away, I think you got to start doing it right now. This is kind of the transition point in the run where if you've been not saving versus somebody that has been saving, where the tires start to equal out, and if you can just continue to run your pace consistent throughout the entire run like it looks like Wold is doing, I'd not be surprised if he's able to get up there and maybe get around Justin before this thing's over with.
Yeah, I would not be surprised as Justin Gross is going to come around, take 20 laps to go here. Before the battle heats up for the lead, we're going to step away for 30 seconds. We're going to promote the BladeNode.com Pro Cup Series. We'll let the commercial tell the story here.
Our representatives are currently busy. Please stay on the line, and your call will be answered by the next available representative. The estimated hold time is currently less than 96 minutes. You are currently caller number 32.
Are you tired of getting blown out of the water by other web hosting solutions? At BladeNode.com, our affordable web hosting and quick customer support is our #1 priority. Bladenode Web Hosting was started with a mission to provide premium hosting at half the price as other hosts without sacrificing features, reliability, and 24/7 customer support with a live technician. Join our community today by visiting bladenode.com and using promo code BLADE10 for 10% off your first package.
All right, and we're back 30 seconds or less as promised. Battle for the lead is heating up down here into turn numbers 1 and 2 as Chris Wold is now just 5 car lanes back as we come back from the bladenode.com Pro Cup Series commercial. New customers over to Bladenode can get 10% off using what code, Brett? Blade 10.
Alrighty. Blade 10 there, guys.
Blade 10.
Didn't have the right sheet in front of me. Sorry about that, Tom.
Not a problem, Brett. I know I just threw that one on you. Battle's starting to heat up for the lead between the 199-32, but take a look behind them. There's a lot of sunlight behind the 32 all the way back. You got to go 3.5 seconds back to Tyler Beeman, as now it's become a 2-car race for the lead here.
Yep, for sure these front two have checked out. Chris Wold did chop that lead in half, but now Justin Gross might be starting to turn up the wick a little as he sees that 32 starting to catch him in his mirror. So it's definitely a 2-horse race as of right now, but one big mistake and it's anyone's race.
It certainly is. Next time by, Brett, we're going to have 15 laps to go. I don't know. As we take a look on the scoring chart over here, Cole Gray has now moved back into the 4th position. He's fallen into the clutches of Tyler Beeman. Brian Dorsey going to be the next driver to try to make a move on Cole, but we're going to see if Cole and Justin can't battle this out here as we have 15 laps to go down here as Justin's going to head down into turn number 1.
And these front two have just all but completely checked out from the rest of the field. And we've been watching the lap times, and Gross and Wold just keep flip-flopping lap times basically between each other. So one pulls one lap and then the other pulls the other lap. Not really a whole lot of change in the gap, as you heard Brett say, but definitely, you know, both of these guys are hungry for a win, trying to pick that first Cyber Thunder win up. But can Justin Gross hold on for just a couple more laps and pick it up for him?
And who I've been impressed with this run, which we said at the beginning didn't look like tires mattered too much, is Chris Daniels up to 6 now after starting mid-20s on that last restart. So those tires on that last stop, I guess, helped out for a long run, which does make sense. But these two leaders have for sure checked out on the whole rest of the field here.
Yeah, I think it kind of come to fruition now about Cole kind of driving it in too hard and kind of killing those tires. He dropped back, and I've been really impressed watching Brian. He started in the back, and now he's up to 5th now, so that could be good for him.
Yeah, Brian Dorsey, winner at Daytona in the Cyber Thunder Rising Stars Series, first race of the season. He found victory lane, so does not look like he's going to find it here tonight. Looks like he's just a little bit off, but who knows? We got a late race restart, Tanner, Brett, Bryson. We've seen a lot of lead changes on the restarts. We do have one green-white checker here if we do need to use it. Let's not forget about that.
Absolutely, and just as you say that, it looks like Justin Gross has started to turn it up just a little bit. Maybe as we were talking earlier, has just been managing that gap over Chris Wold. Actually, that last time by, he was a little over 0.2 quicker than Wold. So, without a doubt, Justin Gross is the fastest car on the racetrack right now, but really, everybody's pretty strung out. Not really a whole lot of battles going on anywhere on the track.
Give him 11 laps to go this time. Justin Groves looking for his first win. He may have some lap traffic to work his way through here before he sees the checkered flag tonight, as we see him up just a tiny bit on the racetrack a little bit. We haven't seen him really up that high throughout the first part of this run. Got to wonder maybe if that tire's starting to give way. I guess that's yet to be seen.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, both of these guys up front right now, they need to have a good night. They're not in the top 12 in points as we're working. I believe this is the 5th race of the season. So, yeah, they need to have a good run. Obviously, they're doing that tonight, and all they want to see, I know Chris Wold's in 2nd, and as bad as he wants that win, I'm sure he would be happy with finishing 2nd and just getting a really big chunk of points on these guys. A couple guys also that are unfortunately going to have kind of a bad night. Corey Range came into this night 11th in points, so he's 22nd on the boards right now. I believe he actually left the sim, so unfortunate for Corey, but he's probably going to lose a big chunk tonight. But nonetheless, the way this race is shaking out, I think you're going to see a shakeup in the standings after this for sure.
Absolutely, and this would make 5 first-time Cyber Thunder winners. That would be our longest streak of first-time Cyber Thunder winners. So see if we can get that done out here tonight. But you know what, guys? One guy I do want to give is we see Patrick Stein coming into the picture here as he's about to go a lap down to the clutches of the 199 Justin. One guy I do want to give a shout out to, we haven't said his name too much, really just not his night, Mr. Paul Turner. Paul's always up front. Paul is always kind of, you know, just running his own race, kind of consistent. You know, still running in the 10th position, so hardly a bad night for the 42, but I'm sure this is not what he was expecting out here at Milwaukee tonight.
Well, yeah, and he started 20th, so I don't want to say that it's, you know, necessarily a bad night for Paul. I'm sure he'd want to be further up in the standings than he is, but to only have, I think we've had 3 cautions so far tonight to kind of help him get through the field. For him to jump up 10 spots in this short 80 lapper, Paul's doing a great job. If he just keeps this up all season, I think he'll probably be able to get into that top 6 in points and be able to contend for this championship. But I want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Gettings one more time. I know I've mentioned his name like 3 or 4 times so far tonight, but to start as deep in the field as he has, to be running up inside the top 10 right now in 8th and potentially going to be able to get 7th and maybe, well, I guess probably not 6th, but at least 7th before the end of this race. That's a big testament to him and why he's our point leader.
Yep, and we're on board with Vet TV. TV for veterans. Go ahead and subscribe over there. Charles Gettings, you need any information about that, definitely get with him as we see a big slide out of turn number 4. He still gains a little bit on the 78 of Rob Rogerson headed down here into turn number 1, but
back up front, Justin Gross is all but said, see you later, I'm checking out, talk to you after the race, to Chris Wold and the rest of the field. We saw Wold basically get within about a half second or so of Justin and then couldn't really do much with him after that. And I don't really think Justin has increased his lap times at all. I just think that maybe Chris's car has started to fade on him a little bit. And, you know, Tyler Beeman's starting to creep into the picture. Maybe he'll be able to get Chris Wold, but as it sits right now, 4 laps to go, it looks like this one is Justin Gross's to lose at this point.
certainly appears to be that as we have about a 15-20 car length lead difference between first and second place as the 199 is going to come out of turn number 4. Looks up at the starter stand, sees 4 laps to go down here as he sees a little bit of lap traffic in front of him, but I don't think he's too concerned about that. Brings it down to the grip strip, right on the rumble strip down here in turns number 1 and 2. Nicely done. Coming out of turn number 2, headed down the backstretch into trying to get 3 to go here, Tanner.
Yeah, into turn number 3, we see Chris Wold. He's making a charge at it. He has taken a couple tenths off of Justin's lead there that last time by, but it might be too little too late as they're going to see, I believe, 3 laps to go at the line this time.
They're going to see 3 laps to go, but you know what he also sees? He sees 2 cars battling for position in front of him. Let's not count Chris Wold out just yet.
Yeah, and Chris Wold's driving his heart out back there. I saw him have a huge slide off of 4, trying to put that power down as early as he can, trying to make up any ground he can as he sees the leader catching lap cars battling. So it should be a little bit interesting coming down to these final laps here.
You know, and this is a difficult position for Justin and Richard and Dalton all to be in, because Justin's racing for a win, but these guys back here, they're racing for position. So you know that they don't want to just go ahead and get out of the way as we see Richard Pruitt do just that. But, you know, they're racing for position.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we saw Richard right there go high into turn number 1. Definitely a classy thing to do, just to kind of let the leader go and not put him in any precarious positions. And it is unfortunate that, you know, there's kind of 2 separate races going on nonetheless, but the sportsmanship shown in Cyber Thunder is always second to none, and we saw that right there with Pruitt as well as Dalton Carter. Let's see popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps to go this time by. We'll see the white next time.
We are on the white flag now, coming through turn numbers 1 and 2 now, as we have a car buffer in between Justin Gross and Chris Wold as we head down here into turn number 3. Tanner, why don't you bring us home?
Yeah, and we saw it. You know, Justin Gross has been struggling with the bad luck all season long. All he's got to do is get off of turn number 4 right here. Ran a perfect race all night long. You see him light the tires up coming to the line. First win in Cyber Thunder for Justin Gross. Chris Wold's going to come home second, followed by Tyler Beeman, Cole Gray, and Brian Dorsey's going to round out your top 5.
All right, been a long time coming. See Chris Wall going up there. Congratulate the 199. Long time coming for Justin Gross, and great run for the 32 car as well. I believe that's probably his best finish of the season. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start the post-race show here in just a few minutes. We're going to get your top 3, see if we can't get them queued up. All right, and we're back. Cyber Thunder Post Race Show presented by Talarico Sign and Design. For all your iRacing graphic needs, hit Tanner up on Trade and Paints. He only charges $5 Taco Bell gift cards. It's going to be tough to find a better deal anywhere.
User was moved to your channel.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I really didn't think I had that in me for this track. I just didn't feel great here. But after the pit stop and I stayed out and got track position, it's like I suddenly learned how to get around this place and hold off for a P3.
Yeah, and we saw you coming late, Tyler. I was wondering if you were going to catch the 32. You started deep in the field tonight. What was your strategy for finding your way up there with all the green flag racing that we had here tonight?
Well, I took tires the first caution we had, and I was down very little on tire wear. I was one of only a handful that took tires. So the next caution came out, I just decided whatever happened, I wasn't going to pit. And I know pretty much everybody except for one car, I can't remember who it was, pit. So I restarted second, a little nervous about that. I was able to hang with the top 5. We had, I think, one more caution and then went green from there. And I really thought I would cycle back and maybe get a top 10, not 9-10 place finish, but I was able to kind of keep up with those guys, and I was able to pass Cole and have some close racing there, and had a good run.
Absolutely, always a pleasure to see you up here in the top 5 tonight. You're bringing home a podium finish, Tyler. I also heard we're going to give you the floor to thank anybody you want to thank, but I think you guys have a little bit of a new excursion going on at Mad Sim Racing. Do you have any road racing you want to talk about and maybe promote here?
Yeah, appreciate it. We're doing the MSR Road Challenge starting November 9th on Monday nights. It's going to be a 10-race schedule, doing 3 different classes. So it's for people that aren't good at road racing or have never really tried it. We've got a class for them to be competitive, and then we have a more advanced class. So everybody check out madsimracing.com, MSR Road Challenge for that.
All right, and Mad Sim Racing and Tyler and Brad and the entire team over there at Mad Sim, longtime friends of the Cyber Thunder Racing League, longtime supporters. Tyler, we're going to let you go ahead and close out your interview here with thanking any of your sponsors, family, friends, any coworkers, anybody else that you got watching out here tonight that's allowing you to come out here and finish third in Milwaukee tonight.
All the guys on track tonight, Jerry, Dave, and Patrick, glad to have them out. And Sim Racer Coin, glad to get something for them in their car tonight for a P3. Everyone check out simracercoin.org. They've been with us for several months now. Kind of a cool project they've got going on.
Very cool stuff, Tyler. Go ahead and check that out. We're going to go ahead. We're going to get out of here. We're going to let you go celebrate.
User was moved out of your channel. User was moved to your channel.
Hey, Chris, this is Tanner, Tom, Brett, and Bryson tonight up in the Cyber Thunder broadcasting booth, man. Got a copy?
Yeah, you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Hey, man, that was quite the race you put together there. We know you haven't exactly had the best luck so far this season, but nonetheless, we were talking about 20 to go or so that this is really going to help you out in the point standings and really hopefully give you a big chunk that you've unfortunately had taken away from you, like we said in those bad luck races. But tell us about how your race went tonight and if there's anything that really jumped out at you or whatnot. And floor is yours, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I know I had to make up for last week. I let you down over there at Charlotte, especially spinning on the third lap. That doesn't help your points out very much. And then from there, Lady Luck just took over. But yeah, tonight, man, it was just for me, it was just all about throttle control. I kind of picked that up during the practice. It was going to be who could save their tires here during that final run. And yeah, I thought I had something for the leader there towards the end, and just started getting a little anxious on the cautions, and actually I almost turned myself into a caution with about, I think, 3 to go. I was sideways coming out of 4, but no, it was just all about tonight was just staying steady and smooth and just keeping that throttle under control to keep the rear end down. So it was a fun race. I really enjoyed this track.
Yeah, you're really coming through the field there pretty good. I believe you started, I want to say like 7th or 8th somewhere, just right about 10th or so. So pretty big mover as far as who finished in the top 10. And I thought for a second there you were really heating up Justin for the lead. I think you got the lead down to like 0.3 of a second or something close to it. And I really thought for a second there you're going to be able to reel him in. It's just, do you think maybe the tire game and the tire strategy was a little different among everybody? I think maybe Justin, when he was out front, you were kind of coming through the field, maybe he was able to save a little bit or whatnot. But kind of tell us about how the tire reacted with the track and what you had to do as a driver to try to maximize your tire wear.
Yeah, I definitely think Justin probably saved on the tires. It's real deceiving when you're chasing someone down, because every corner it looked like he was dead sideways going into the brakes. And so this one was real touchy going into the corner and coming out. And so it's kind of, you pick your line if you want to take that real shallow line, which is one I took kind of as I was making way through the field. You want to make sure you're not locking the brakes up, almost kind of like a road course, right? You don't want to hit those brakes too hard and heat the tires up and then just push the whole rest of the way of the corner. And then as I was coming out, it was really just that throttle, right? Don't mash it when you hit the apex. Just nice, smooth, hold it. Probably a little bit of counter steer, but I think the biggest piece was just all that corner entry for me. That's kind of how I was depicting whether or not how that whole turn was going to set up. And I think most of my passes were being able to take that shallow line into 3 and really, instead of being on the brake in the turns, because they always tell you the tires can do one thing at a time. They can either stop or they can turn. It's real hard to get them to do both at the same time. And so it's just take that shallow line and kind of do a straight cut into the corner on the brakes, and then start to turn in like a late apex style and just be on the gas on the way out, nice and smooth. But yeah, overall, I think Justin was saving towards the end. When I got within that in the final 10 and I could see myself closing in on him, I probably started to push it a little bit too much. I was kind of hoping those lap cars, I think 2 of them were starting to race each other towards the end, would have held them up just a little bit, but they played nice and let him go by, and I just coasted into the second.
Well, absolutely, man. Nonetheless, great finish. Like we said, we're sure going to get you a big points chunk back tonight. But before I let you go, we do want to give you the opportunity to thank anybody you got on that racing machine, friends, family, sponsors, whatnot. Go ahead and take the mic. Do what you got to do.
I was thinking the whole time, outside of a few bad luck races here in the Wednesday night Cyber Thunder, Tuesdays and Thursdays have been going pretty good, and so I'm almost thinking it's these paint jobs, Tanner, are almost a good luck charm for me. As soon as these paints came on, the run started getting better and better. So no, again, I appreciate all that you guys do for us, bringing us out here in a good time. And I am going to show this to my wife later, so I better give her the thank you and the shout out for letting me do this every Tuesday, Wednesday night while she's putting the kids to bed. So and then with that, I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow at Sonoma. We're going to turn left and right.
Absolutely, buddy. We're going to go ahead and move you up here. Congratulations, Chris, on your second place finish. And I believe
User was moved out of your channel.
Tom or Brett or Bryson's going to get caught up with our winner, Justin Gross.
User was moved to your channel.
Last week, just from run Charlotte and starting last, just kind of learned a lot of saving tires and practice could really kind of get to gauge how long I was going to need to save those tires. And early on was just letting Cole kind of burn them up a little bit. And once I could see him fading and try to put some distance while Chris was putting some pressure and just trying to, it was just all tire management and really a lot of throttle control tonight.
Gotcha, Justin. I did have you as my pick for the race winner, so you at least made me look pretty good. Congrats on your first win here tonight. What was the big thing with saving your tires? Because I noticed big time compared to you, and like you just said with Cole, you guys had two different, very driving, different strategies for driving the corners.
Yeah, I guess it comes from having a dirt background where these cars really get tight as the tires start to burn off. So the harder I kind of threw it in, it threw the rear end just a little bit loose so I can kind of throw it hard in and then the rear end would kind of turn around so I could point straight out. And I think that was really just the advantage because you'd see a lot of people really pushing their cars out of 3 and 4. And I just kind of hung on right on the bottom and I was worried about how fast Chris was coming on, but I saw him overdrive the corner around 68, 69, and I knew that he was going to really have to push to get me. And just from there, pretty much knew we had it locked up as long as another green-white checker didn't come out.
Yeah, well, nonetheless, there, Justin, congratulations, man. We were talking pretty much all race long about how your streak of bad luck kind of had been following you all season long, and we know you've been fast. We know you've been able to get up there and win or at least contend for poles and races and whatnot. But way to really break through, man. One thing we like to do before we wrap these interviews up is give you the opportunity to thank any family, friends, sponsors, teammates, what have you. But the mic is yours, the floor is yours. Go ahead and do what you got to do.
No, I appreciate it. You guys put on a great show and really enjoy coming out for this series. Probably the biggest person I think is my girlfriend who lets me come play with this for about 2.5 hours every week. So give her a lot of thanks, and it was good. I've had a lot of bad luck racing in the real world in iRacing, so it was good to kind of break through here tonight.
Yeah, well, once again, congratulations, Justin. I'm sure we're going to be talking to you again before the season's over with the kind of speed you've been showing. But uh, nonetheless, great run, great race. We'll go ahead and get you moved up here. But there you have it, your winner, Justin Gross in the
User was
199.
moved out of your channel.
First time winner in the Cyber Thunder Rising Stars division. But boys, that's going to put a bow on it for tonight here in West Dallas. What are your takeaways for tonight?
You know, it just goes to show the level of respect that we have out here in the Rising Stars series. Tanner and Brett and Bryson.
Yeah, and Bryson, obviously this is your first time out here tonight. Phenomenal job, by the way. You and Brett did a great job for this only being Brett's second time ever up here, and Bryson, you're first. But what were the takeaways that you guys had from tonight's event, and what do you think we can look forward to going into next week? I believe we're at, I want to say, USA. So real short track next week, the half mile there in Florida. What are your takeaways from tonight going into next week?
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of good racing. Kind of better than what I saw from some of the races I saw last season. So that was good to see. A lot of close battles, especially going to USA. That's definitely a short track, so there might be a little more beating and banging on that one. So definitely to have to tune in for that one.
Well, Bryson, feel free to hop back in here anytime you want. Hell, after tonight, you may have my job with as tongue-tied as I was. We were talking about that while we were getting ready for the post-race show. But awesome job tonight, guys. Always a pleasure. We're going to run through the top 23 finishers tonight here. Coming home with the big checkered flag out here tonight, Justin Gross, the 199, coming home with his first checkered flag of the Cyber Thunder Racing League. I'm sure we'll see many more out of him throughout the rest of the season and for seasons to come. Chris Wald,
wake up.
Okay. Chris Wald gonna be coming home in position number 2. Tyler Beeman coming home in 3rd place. Mad Sim Racing, we talked with him just a second ago. Cole Gray in the number 4th position, 44, last week's winner, and Brian Dorsey rounds out your top 5. Brett or Bryson, are you guys still on the server?
I got the results here.
Okay.
So 6th place we got Christopher Daniel. 7th place Rob Robertson. 8th place Charles Gettings. 9th place Dave Sanders, and rounding out your top 10 is Michael Witt.
Bryson, who you got through 15th here?
That's why you're not coming behind me.
Starting at 15?
Finishing.
All right, so 15th, we got, as you guys call him, the Doctor, Deli. Jerry Isaacs, 16th. Zachary, I'm going to call him Zach C. 17th. Dalton Carter, 18th. Got Richard Pruitt in the 248, coming 18th. Or 19th, sorry. And Patrick Stein running out the top 20.
All right, and we'll fill in the gaps here as I misunderstood Bryson. I did a lot of that tonight. Paul Turner rounds out position 11, followed by Eric Moore in the Scoots Custom Chevy Impala. Jamie Beasley, we've seen him up front a lot this season. David Gameforth, and then Dr. Dale Lee, as we were just talking about him. 21st is going to be Alan Robinson, Alan Cheech. We saw him going for a slide earlier tonight's race. He's going to come home 25 laps down. Corey Range with that heartbreak coming out of turn number 4 when he was running 3rd. Really tough break for him. Go from 3rd to the garage in a matter of 200 feet. Tough break for him. He's going to come home 33 laps down and not able to take a time out here tonight, but was able to show up to the track. Mr. Eric Anderson. Tanner, Brett, Bryson, it was a pleasure doing this. What do you guys say? You want to do this again sometime?
Oh, yeah, we're fully committed now to the end of the season, boys. We've done this so far. I'll come out and I'll do it by myself, or I'll figure out how to. This is awesome. I love that we're doing this for the K&N Rising Star Series. These guys deserve it. Every single week they come in and put on a great show. Doesn't matter what track we go to, who's in the field, who's winning. Never fails. Quite honestly, I think this is one of our more exciting series that we run, and I look forward to this every single week, and I'd love to be able to call these things every single week if I could.
Yeah, and thanks for having me again. Definitely getting more and more comfortable up in the booth with you guys. Always having a blast calling these races, especially with these Rising Star drivers. They put on a heck of a show each week, and look forward to coming on back with you guys.
And that's going to about do it from the Milwaukee Mile out here tonight. I guess Bryson stepped away for a second. Thank you guys all for tuning in. For Bryson Clark, for Tanner Tallarico, for Brett Hahn,